You're back live from the 21st International AIDS Conference right here in the port city of Durban. Now, the South African National AIDS Council is preparing the process, well, at least launched the process of preparing for the National Strategic Plan on HIV, STIs, as well as TB, tuberculosis. Now, this is a crucial plan in responding to these various illnesses right here in South Africa. What is at stake? What is in the plan? What could be in the plan? Well, let's find out and let's talk more about this. Dr. Fareed Abdullah joins me now live. He is the CEO of the South African National AIDS Council. Thank you very much indeed, Doctor, for your time. The plan has been launched. The process has been launched. Just take us back, though. The last plan was, I think, from 2012 to 2016, isn't it? What are some of the progresses that South Africa has made in those last couple of years?
So, good morning. Overall, we have done very well on treatment. I think everybody knows now South Africa has the largest treatment program in the world, with 3 million people on treatment. We've also done very well with treating HIV in pregnancy, and the rate of transmission to the baby has decreased by more than 90%. Those are the good things, but where we have struggled is with controlling new infections. That means we must do much more on prevention.
I know that figure back in 2004, 70,000 babies were being born HIV positive. That number is now what, below 6,000, isn't it?
That's correct.
Indeed, a feather in the cap for South Africa in terms of that. But what's needed now? Preventative measures, is that going to be reinforced?
So that's a game changer, really. Because if we continue to have new infections, and last year we had 300,000 new infections, we will just have so many people that eventually we won't be able to afford treatment. So, prevention is not only about new medical discoveries, it's also about behavior change, it's also about all the things that put a young woman at risk. I think you've heard at this conference that more than 2,000 young women get infected in South Africa every week. Those are the things that we must tackle. The key thing about the next 5-year plan is that we can't just have this done by the health department, which is why last night we had 5 ministers from various departments, saying what they will be doing about this epidemic.
So it's going to be a very inclusive process, isn't it? Is there going to be public consultation as well?
Public consultation has already started at this conference, and there'll be a massive communication with the public, with HIV/AIDS NGOs, with government departments, with provinces. The idea is to really genuinely grasp the nettle that people who are working with HIV on a daily basis have a lot of knowledge, and that's what we must bring into the national plan.
This new national plan, I think it will be implemented in March next year. What do you envisage some of the changes will be in this plan?
So the main changes, as we said, will be on big emphasis on behavior change, on educating the public, on getting the HIV kind of awareness back on the level it was, 5 years ago. In addition to that, we also need to deal with what we call key populations: sex workers, men who have sex with men, prisoners, because these groups are at a very high risk of HIV. And unless we control the epidemic there, we're going to miss a big part of this problem.
Funding is another issue. I understand 13 out of 14 countries, donor countries, are actually reducing their funding. I think last year that totaled about $1 billion in terms of decline. South Africa needs some money urgently, isn't it, in terms of assisting this fight?
So, of course, you can't plan to do a big program like this without the money. And we've already done a big exercise to estimate what we will need for the next 20 years. And we also estimated what we are spending at the moment. And the main numbers are that currently we spend 23 billion rand a year in this country on HIV. And we will need to increase that by at least 30% if we want to achieve the targets that we set out in a new plan.
Is that even possible? Is it practical?
Well, the Deputy President made a big commitment that even though economic times are tough, this is a priority that we cannot neglect. We're also negotiating with donors to reconsider their investments in this country. But mostly, we need to use our money more efficiently. 23 billion rand is a lot of money, and we can do much more with the money we already have. So that's where we'll start.
In terms of engaging with these donors, is the appropriate approach? I mean, how do we get them interested again? I was speaking to Civil Society yesterday, and they say there's a different feel in Europe than here in Africa, here in South Africa. How do we re-engage with these donor countries?
Blain, you know, as SANAC's, one of our main functions is to talk to these donors.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that the donors want to invest where they can see the money being used well. So this year, we've had an increase from the US government, a substantial increase, whereas we were expecting a decrease. We also have had an increase in funding from the Global Fund. So it's not all doom and gloom. The most important thing is if we use the donor money well and we use it effectively, then they want to partner with us.
Yeah.
So our success is going to breed more success.
Day 4 at this conference, what has stood out for you so far?
Well, for the first time in 10 years, everybody at this conference, including the most hardcore scientists, are saying drugs and other medical interventions are one thing and we need more of those. But unless we get to behavior, unless we get to the things which force people into unsafe sex, unless we deal with those populations that we want to ignore, like sex work and men who have sex with men, we are really not going to get to the bottom of this epidemic.
It's all about moving science into action, isn't it? Dr. Fareed Abdullah is the CEO of the South African National AIDS Council, talking about this plan, the National Strategic Plan coming up. People are talking about it. It's a very, very crucial plan in terms of responding to the various illnesses, HIV, STIs, as well as TB. Well, it's another beautiful day here in Durban, in KwaZulu-Natal. I see clear skies right here. When I was driving in this morning, it was partly cloudy, but I see that has dissipated. It's clear skies, beautiful day in KZN. Let's check out how the rest of the country is looking now.